All right, everyone, welcome back to the Crossover Podcast. We're on episode number 29. And as I said last week, I was trying to get people to hop on the podcast. So we got our first guest on the show, or podcast show type of thing, Finn Page. Finn, how's it going, man?
Good, man. How are you? Thanks for bringing me on here. It
Yeah.
sounds fun. I've always wanted to be on a podcast. It's gonna be pretty neat.
Um, so you have a lot of background in swimming, fitness, that sort of stuff. Even like we were working together at PFC. So I just want to kind of start off how I normally start off with having guests on the show, is to just talk a little bit about yourself, what you do, for the listeners.
Cool. Yeah. Well, yeah, like you said, a big sports person. I've been in sports pretty much since I was a kid. Um, in April, so however many months ago that is, 6-ish months ago, I graduated from Camosun College. So I have my degree now in sports. So that's sport and fitness leadership. So that's pretty fun. And I'm a personal trainer and sort of former in my athletic time. I was sort of I guess I could call it high performance, but I was kind of in the verge of high performance of being a swimmer. So I've been around all tons of different levels of sport and everything to do with it. And I'm big soccer fan, so I watch a lot of soccer. Not as much as I would like to lately. Same with hockey. I just can't seem to get like the streams and everything, and like pay for the services, but then games are blacked out, and I don't get to watch as much as I want to. But then worked at PSC at PFC with you, and it was pretty cool being able to get paid and just like watch games.
Yeah.
It's nice and casual, right? Like,
Well, I mean, there's been some stressful games, like the Whitecaps game,
yeah,
for
yeah.
instance. Like
Okay, yeah, fair.
we almost hosted the finals.
That would
Um,
have been crazy. I would have
yeah,
loved that. That would have been
but I
so much
think
fun.
I mentioned it in my last episode. Like that would have been like a full day thing because we had to do like the opening
Oh yeah,
ceremonies, closing ceremonies, um, probably more giveaways.
yeah. That would have been fun though, because like I've never been to any like championship games as a spectator, like anything like that. So
Yeah,
it would be pretty neat. Like even in swimming, I mean, going to some of the Olympic trials and like that sort of stuff, it's still not that big. Like it's not that many people. There's not too much. It's a few day event, but it's not like there's all this fun stuff and entertaining things and all that, right? As soon as you get all these
yeah.
giveaways and like t-shirt cannons and stuff, it just like totally different ball game.
T-shirt cannon. That's funny.
That thing was, man, we got sewered the last time, but that was a lot of fun.
That was Joe's fault. And
Yeah.
for you guys listening, Joe's just one of our other coworkers. Also, I feel like there's a lot of people at Camosun. Joe's also at Camosun. Um, and I kind of want to go into that. Just like we'll talk about your swimming a little bit later, but um, we'll talk about like your education in the SFL program. I'm not too familiar with it. I know it's fairly linked to my program, but it's a little bit separate. Um,
Yeah.
so just a couple questions, like what made you want to go into SFL, and then like what did you learn from that program?
So going into it, like I was a coach for since I was 15. So I've always been around training in sports. And that's sort of what led me to going through the BSFO program was just I wanted to always be a trainer and be in the sport world. And it's interesting looking back on it because I think sport management, it is pretty linked, but I actually think sport management is way more applicable in terms of getting jobs in sport right out the gate as a 20 or 20 something year old. It's definitely easier to get into because like training and coaching, you really have to be dedicated to one sport and like do that for 20 years before you get something good.
Right.
So that's honestly, I would say looking back on it, I would kind of wish I did sport management. It would have been a bit more applicable. And you can always be like as a personal trainer, you can always be a personal trainer without the degree. You don't need a specific degree to do it.
Yeah.
There's lots of other routes you can go around. So it's like you can kind of do both but it's easier to get those jobs with that degree.
Yeah.
But the main difference between them is basically we did a lot more physiology and I would say like sport management stuff was I would call that almost our minor in a way because we always did classes of it every year, but it definitely wasn't much of a focus of like health promotion and like physiology things, a lot of neuromuscular stuff, like just a little bit more in depth into how the body actually works and then how to coach people. So that was actually a surprising part of it. Like how to organize group classes and how to make programs for athletes and just sort of the specifics of coaching a bit more.
Yeah. I feel like it's like the exact opposite of like, and my mom is like, I don't know
Yeah.
if you hear my mom in the background, but I'll cut it out. Um, Basically, I feel like it's kind of like the flip version. So like you have like my sport management program, it was kind of like an SFL minor type of thing where we
Yeah.
take some of your classes as well. I'm also in they actually changed the program. So it's kinesiology now. They just changed up the
Yeah.
wording, but
I know. I
um,
was frustrated, man. I was the last grad class to graduate with BSFL, and now it's
yeah,
kinesiology. I have to explain it every time, and it's such a grind.
yeah. So like you can't say that you have like a kinesiology degree though, right? You have to say that you're a
Not not really. Like yes and no. So I can actually register to become at least a BC registered kinesiologist, but I don't have like a specific kin degree. So that's the weird thing is it's like
yeah,
I am, but I'm not. You know,
yeah,
it's just it. You got to take that extra step to explain it.
yeah. It's like because it's literally the same thing, but
Yeah, basically.
you just change the names. um, I don't know if you hear all
Yeah,
the
I
dishes
can
in
hear that now. Yeah,
the yeah, like I think sport management, I think it's like a more broader area of sport, like where you can like I know like me, I want to work in like pro sports. My some other people want to do like event management, um, coaching, whatever. Um, but I feel like you can just kind of do like whatever. Um, but to get into like those jobs, it's not really much of experience. It's more education. Whereas for
yeah, that
you,
makes
it's
sense.
more like if you're training, like personal training, for example, you could just do all the certifications. You don't really need all the education, right?
Yeah,
Um, and yeah, you could just do that. But for me, like I think it's more on the education side to get into front office jobs, for example, or whatever.
yeah, definitely.
Um, and then going into like you finished your degree, and then were you also training during that time, or was that like did you start that after?
Yeah, so I started being a trainer during we had to get a either a work experience or an internship in order to graduate. And so I just around that same time as needing to do that, that got certified as a personal trainer. So then I went through a gym and started personal training there as a for work experience as a kind of an intern. And then I just continued on with them after, and I've been training at the same place ever since. And
Yeah,
it's like I'm an employee, so you can either be like a licensee, say if you make your own business and you pay rent and you have to get all your clients yourself, or you can be an employee. And so I don't pay rents, but I get given clients, get paid an hourly wage, like all that sort of stuff. It's definitely easier to get into the training world by doing that.
yeah,
Because then marketing is like a huge thing. You know, as I'm sure you know, like
yeah,
through everything, if you want to make be a successful in the sport world or fitness world in general, marketing is huge. And I will say that's the one thing about BSFL I didn't really like is that they don't teach you too much about how to market yourself, and
yeah,
it's such a different world.
yeah.
It's definitely hard.
I know like our first 2 years was just like all marketing. On, is it cool if I just like talk to my
Oh
mom for
yeah,
a
yeah.
sec? Yeah,
Oh, all good, man. Don't worry about it.
being too loud.
All
All right,
good.
I'll be back.
Sounds good. Is that a Maple Leafs jersey I see out there?
It's a Maple Leafs jersey. I also got a
Oh
Cubs one,
man.
but I'm trying to switch
Okay,
the
fair
Maple
enough.
Leafs jersey. Yeah, my
Okay,
parents are just being loud. Just they're loud people. I'll try and cut out as
whatever.
much as I can.
Oh man, don't even worry about it. I'm easy. I don't
But
really care.
yeah. Uh, what was I going on about?
What were we going on about?
I don't even
Marketing.
remember. Oh
We're
yeah,
talking about
marketing.
marketing. Yeah.
Yeah. So I know in like my first 2 years, and we just did a whole bunch of like accounting, marketing, a lot of just like business stuff, really.
Yeah.
Um, and then in our third and fourth year, they did like sport marketing and like sport law and sport accounting, that sort of stuff. So our
Yeah.
first 2 years was like more business, and then they got more sports specific in the later
Okay.
years. But your program is completely different. It's like science and stuff, right?
Mainly, yeah.
Anatomy, yeah. Um, and then what's the I don't know the name of the gym that you work at. The place downtown, right?
It's sort of down, well, more uptown, I guess, like Mayfair.
Yeah.
But it's called BPM Fitness Center. So that's where I work right now. It's a private gym. It's really nice, and it's not like super big or anything, but it's kind of all towards the type of stuff I like, kind of CrossFit, kind of powerlifting, kind of a bit of everything. Which has been a lot of fun. The guys have taught me a lot about more. I've been interested in like the powerlifting side of things
Yeah.
specifically. Um, but it's been awesome. Honestly, these guys have all been working as like trainers and lifting and all that for like 10+ years each. So it's like it's cool to actually learn from some really knowledgeable people.
Yeah.
It definitely is like
I remember like it seemed like a very similar thing to like when I was at CrossFit Tyrannus, which is in Esquimalt. I
okay,
used to um my whole family used to work out there a
okay,
few years ago. It was the same thing. Like CrossFit was sort of the main thing, but also like powerlifting, like nutrition stuff. They have
pretty
some new
well
programs
rounded.
now.
Yeah,
Yeah, but like their main focus was CrossFit and powerlifting. Um, and it's pretty cool because like the coaches were like in the CrossFit games, and
yeah.
or like we had a team that like qualified for the CrossFit games, but then like COVID stuff happened. So
Oh yeah,
um, and then like they got invited to be in 2021 because they wanted to invite all the ones like who would qualify for the 2020.
yeah.
Um, for some reason they declined it. So, um,
Fair. What
but
was it like? Was it online? Because if I'm right, I
yeah,
think over COVID they did one that was like online,
yeah,
and
it
that
was
just
online.
sounds so weird.
I think
Like,
they canceled the team one, but they just did the individual ones
okay,
online. And then I think the next year it was in the States somewhere, I think. And then
that makes sense.
it was like a regular one, but obviously like with less fans and stuff.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, so it feels like a pretty similar environment. Do you have a more your gym has like a more focus on like powerlifting rather than CrossFit, or is it sort of mixed?
It's a little bit of both, honestly. It's a little bit of whatever. Like each trainer kind of has their own focus on a lot of stuff. I mean, the biggest focus of our gym is really, uh, I I want to say like the functional fitness, like that's sort of, I just hate that term because it's such a generic term right now. Like realistically, besides like a few things, a lot of this fitness stuff isn't very functional. But like,
Yeah,
at the end of the day, anything can be better than nothing, I guess, in a way.
yeah,
Like if you really tell me that like I don't know, an overhead squat is like
yeah,
super functional or a hang clean, like it can be. It's definitely trains a lot better than to sports and all that stuff, without a doubt. Like I'm not arguing that. It's just like how often is that actually? What does functional mean? Anyway, I'm
yeah.
rambling on that, but like
It's
it
just
definitely a bit more towards that stuff.
yeah, it's more like sports specific things.
A little bit, but it's just like it's pretty well rounded.
Yeah,
Honestly, yeah, it's pretty well rounded. It's just because a lot of the people there aren't athletes or anything specifically.
yeah,
Uh, it's mainly just people who are looking to get a little bit more fit and kind of feel a little bit more confident for lifting heavy things and cool techniques and challenge yourself a bit.
yeah. I do like crazy things at like CrossFit, do like rope climbs and handstand push-ups and stuff.
We've done a few of
I
those. So one of our classes, they were climbing the rope yesterday, and
yeah,
that was is neat. Like they have a bell up top and everything, so it's
yeah.
that bell going off when they do it. And it's pretty cool. Like to actually be able to do that is pretty fucking cool.
I feel like it's like I like the for CrossFit specifically, like the modifications you can do and like how easy it is to like progress through those. So
Yeah,
like let's
definitely.
say like I don't know, like a box jump or something. You do like step ups
Yeah.
and then you could jump on a box and then jump on a higher box. It's like that
Oh, totally. Oh,
progressive
totally. Right?
thing.
Same with like hang cleats, right? Where it's like you can easily start with a med ball, move to a dumbbell, move to a kettlebell, move to a
Yeah.
lighter bar, go through a power clean, go through a full clean. Like it's just there's so many different things you can do that
Yeah.
it's really easy to actually get beginners into it, like
Yeah.
without a doubt.
Is what type of clients do you have? Like what things specifically your clients? Is it more
Yeah.
like CrossFit? Is it more power, or is it just like a mix of everything?
So the clients I have right now, I mainly go through kind of some basic bodybuilding foundations because I do think that for a lot of people who are looking to lose weight or looking to just start off in the gym and get those foundations, the classic sort of bodybuilding 3 by 8 to 12 and all that stuff is honestly a good place to start, at least for
Yeah.
the first month and a bit, to get just the idea of how to do some of these pushes and pulls and all the main movements. And then I like to transition them into a bit more, not quite CrossFit, but a bit more supersets, giant sets, and things that do get the heart rate up a little bit. I think we all shy away from kind of some nice intensity sometimes. So
Yeah.
it's you gotta kind of force people into that stuff. I don't think they'll
Yeah.
do it on their own, you know.
I know for
But
me,
that's sort
like,
of what I go through.
yeah, I know for me, like, I was really good at like the cardio stuff. So like running, obviously from soccer, and then like
Yeah.
um the medcons. I think that's what they're called.
Oh yeah.
Like
Yeah. No, I
like the
get you.
super like fast sprint workouts. And then like powerlifting, I just like didn't want to do because I
Yeah.
wasn't good at it, or like I wasn't strong or whatever. Um, it just wasn't as fun, basically. Um,
Yeah, I mean, wherever you get success and, are honestly like everybody wants to be slightly better than other people. I think as much as you don't want to compare yourself to other people, it
yeah,
kind of happens no matter what.
I
And
know.
it's always good to be good at something, right? So I always go towards that.
Yeah,
When, I definitely spend time going more towards kind of the endurance route of activities. But lately it's been so much more fun to lift heavy. It's just fun. It's just good to do. Nice change.
yeah. So, how long have you been doing um fitness? Like, when did you start like working out?
Like the gym specifically?
Yeah, or just like home
Yes.
workouts or whatever.
Oh yeah, totally. So I started the gym in about grade 12, because we had to start as I kind of made the progression up from like an age group athlete to starting to get more towards like higher performance stuff. That was when we started training. So I was lucky enough to be able to train with like strength conditioning coaches and people through the high performance center, like high performance swimming center we have here. And so I'd train out at Pisces, and it would be, lots of like the sport stuff. So power cleans, lots of deadlifts. And then because we were swimmers, it was mainly stuck towards basic strength building stuff.
Yeah,
Because you don't really want to get that big. You don't want to gain too much muscle. You still want to stay decently lean.
yeah,
So it was more just about building strength and explosiveness. So that was sort of where it started. Then once I stopped being an athlete, I just kind of started falling in love with some. It started through like videos on YouTube like Ronnie Coleman and like all those classic bodybuilders just lifting
yeah,
silly things, and I started getting into bodybuilding a little bit, and I did that. Kind of had a foundation of that for a while. It's been lately where one of the trainers I train with, he's got crazy deadlift. I think his deadlift's like 615, which is
yeah.
decently
It's
big.
crazy.
And just hanging around with him and some of the other guys, I'm like, I want to do lifting things. Like, it's so much fun to be able to do. So I, over the last year, I've been more into the powerlifting, but it's been a good few years, good probably 7 years. I've sort of been into the gym. Again, taking it a lot more seriously the last two. Um,
Yeah,
but yeah, I've been around for a long time.
it's crazy. Like, I feel like there's not a whole lot of people that are like as dedicated as you are, like in the gym, when it comes to like working on stuff. Like, I know for me, like I when I work out, it's in like spurts. So like there's like 1 week where like I'll work out a
Yeah,
lot, and then like others I just don't feel like doing anything. Like um I think before I got injured, um I don't know when did I got injured like a couple weeks ago.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
but then like I got like kicked in the shins in soccer.
Oh,
And then I couldn't. It was like just above the shin pad, but like just
oh man.
underneath the
Oh, that's
knee.
awful.
Yeah,
Yeah, but like right on the bone there. Like,
yeah.
ooh, is it cold out?
Uh, it wasn't too bad. Like I could still like walk and stuff. It was just like after, like when I
Yeah,
got home. Basically I just couldn't like run or jog or anything,
yeah,
and so it's just like unmotivating to like do things. But like before that, I was working out like every day, and
yeah,
then this happened, and then like now I'm like I don't feel like doing much or like doing any
yeah. No,
training. So it's pretty cool to see like you like you had a I saw on your Instagram you had like a back injury or something or some sort of
no,
injury,
it is an ankle injury.
ankle injury.
Yeah, it's my own fault. So basically, to everybody listening out there, like don't ego lift. If you're gonna test your 1 rep maxes, make sure number one you have a spotter, and number two you don't make 25-pound jumps. I'm just saying that we all learn lessons in our own way, and don't let your emotion get the best of you. That's what I can say. But no, I was doing a back squat, and I definitely tried. I went for I'm trying to hit 3 plates, so 315,
Yeah,
and I hit 290, and that was like a PR. And then I was like, okay, you know what? I was upset, and I'm like, let's go for it. Let's go for 315. Got stuck, and I had to bail the bar out. And on the way down, I got most of my body out of the way as the bar was coming down. It hit me on the butt, and then I just rolled my ankle forward. So I got a high ankle sprain, and I've been not be able to do much like lower body work for about 3 weeks now. I'm slowly getting back into it, but it's been as is my first real like injury. And even like as an athlete, I had a little bit of injuries here and there, but it wasn't anything like where I'd be out for a long time. So this is the first time I've had to deal with it, and it's definitely not been the easiest. I will say that. Like it's tough. It's tough like wanting to do stuff, but all my goals have been around lower body things, and it's
yeah,
definitely hard to not be able to do it.
yeah. Um, Actually, that's a good transition to like PFC because like
Yeah.
when we what game was it? I think it was some home game like maybe a couple months ago when Bustos got injured.
Yeah.
There was someone who told us what the I don't know if we can say, but they said like not to say it. But
Yeah.
the season's over. It's fine. So basically, for you guys listening, um, Marco Bustos, I think Terran Campbell like fell on his leg or something.
Yeah. It was something
Yeah,
like that.
we didn't like the game day. We come up and like he's like hobbling into the office and all that stuff, and like nobody wanted to tell us anything until like kickoff, basically.
Yeah.
um, so that's kind of unfortunate, but like Marco is still like training a lot and like doing ridiculous things even when injured.
Oh yeah.
And then he got injured again. I think the same leg against TFC, and then
Yeah.
like
Right.
kind of sucks he didn't play in the finals. It's probably a pretty bad injury then, but
Yeah, definitely. He
yeah,
definitely it probably re-aggravated something, and but
yeah,
yeah, the guy's a phenomenal athlete. You just look at him, and it's like that guy is an athlete. Like it's crazy.
I think for soccer players they look like normal people though. Like if you
A little bit more, sure, but
yeah,
he is like he's pretty shredded.
yeah, but he's also like
Like
5'4".
yeah, but who cares, man? That low center of gravity, lots of power, right? That guy can squat.
Yeah, I
Honestly,
remember back when I was equipment managing with Ronaldo. Um, I went to like I went to buy my smartwatch at Best Buy like on like a Saturday, like we trained on like Monday to Friday.
yeah,
And I just saw Bustos there with his girlfriend. It's like I barely recognized him because he just looks
yeah,
like like your average guy, right? But um,
true. No,
yeah,
definitely, and like it's definitely these. I mean, these players in a league of this size can get away with stuff like that. Like I went to a restaurant and I saw Lucas McNaughton out on a
yeah,
date like end of the summer sort of, and I just like turn around and I'm like, oh, I recognize that guy, but like yeah, just like any other guy out there, it's kind of it's interesting. Like definitely, they're not
What
like
was he? What was he wearing? Because he's like part-time model, I
black
think.
jacket. It was, I
Yeah.
don't remember exactly. It was definitely a black jacket, and he had his bleached hair and everything.
Yeah.
Like he, that guy knows style. Come on, you look at
Yeah.
him and it's like, okay, this guy he knows how to dress.
I think he's I think he's the best dressed out of the
Oh
team.
yeah,
Yeah.
dude. That if there's any of them who could get into like any type of fashion modeling or something, it'd be that guy.
I
Like,
think
come
he
on,
already
he's
is though.
well. There you go.
Yeah.
Easy, simple, right? That makes sense then.
Yeah. Um so let's talk about PFC for a bit. Um
Yeah.
did you watch the finals? CBL finals?
I didn't get to. No, I
No.
saw it. I caught like the last little bit of it, but I
Yeah.
didn't really get to see most of it. But hey, I mean, shout out, Victoria, we're on the
We'll
map.
take
With
it.
that, like, exactly, right?
Yeah, I watched it.
Watched the highlights here, but yeah, I didn't get to catch
Yeah.
most of the game. No,
What did you think? Like from the highlights, what did you think?
they snuck by with that one. I think it
Yeah.
looked like they had obviously the most deadly chances, but like they were few and far between, which is kind of different from how I saw them play through most of the season. Like we were definitely a lot more dominating and quick little passes and all this stuff. And to see them like just have Forge had 70% or
Yeah,
69%
it's like
possession or something, like
75% possession.
yeah, something
Yeah.
silly, right? Like it's definitely not what they like to do. But I almost think that maybe kind of threw Forge off a little bit. Like clearly it was a bit of a tactical like change and it worked and the defense did what they needed to do. So there you
Yeah.
go, right?
I feel like Forge missed a lot of really good chances in that game. Like
Yeah. Well, they
quite
had
a
what, like
lot.
14 shots and like two of them on target or something like
Yeah.
that. Like nothing was very deadly. You got to credit the defense as well, like from Pacific to actually probably make a lot of their chances a little bit more,
Yeah.
not as good. But that definitely, again, a little different from what we've played through the season, without a doubt.
Yeah. I feel like they're such a different team on the road. Cause like when we're at
Oh
home,
yeah,
we're like undefeated basically. Thanks to my pregame
yeah.
ritual. But
What is your
um
favorite game?
so
Anyway,
you know where the family zone, right?
yeah,
And for you guys listening, it's basically like you have the field and then off to like the corner is like the family zone. So it's like right by where our office is, and it's like a little parking lot basically with all the vendors and stuff. We have a couple like inflatables with some soccer balls so people can kick the ball around. Um all I do is just like go up to where the target one is and that
yeah.
green ball. I just do it around the world and I just leave the ball there. And that's it. Every time I've done that, we
Hey,
haven't lost. So
hey, I mean, keep doing it. You gotta. I mean,
yeah,
you gotta be team again next year. You gotta keep doing it. You can't let it stop.
yeah. I gotta find one for the Royals though,
Oh
because
yeah, how's that been going? What's the
yeah,
differences between like working a soccer event and a hockey event?
it's it's not that different. It's just different types of people.
Okay.
Because it's like I feel like in hockey you're more interested in some things. I think in hockey you're more interested in like the entertainment side,
Okay.
but in soccer people are more interested in the actual game, I
Okay.
think.
I kind of get what you're.
Yeah. So it's like I've been watching hockey for like since like 2010. So
Yeah.
it's not new to me. It's nothing new, but it's just like how the games are like thought in terms of like entertainment side. Like for us, we just only have the halftime, but in hockey, we have like all the TV timeouts, all the stoppages. So we have to put things in between to keep fans entertained, type of thing.
Okay.
Um, but yeah, it's going well. I already knew one person who used to work at PFC and was also working at the Royals at the time. Um, also in sport management at Camosun,
Okay.
and so we get along pretty well. And yeah, I mean, it's fun when you get to just watch games for free, basically.
Oh yeah. You get paid to watch something.
Yeah, it's
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 it's a
sweet.
pretty good life,
Yeah,
honestly, right? Like,
especially soccer because you don't have to do much. You
Oh
just
man, we didn't do that much. Yeah,
yeah.
definitely. There's some days it was pretty busy, but there's a lot of times where it was a lot of standing around waiting for something to happen.
Yeah, especially like the getting the balls and stuff. But
Oh yeah,
um, what I do with the Royals, it's more fan experience stuff. I know with PSC it was more like operations, I guess. Um,
makes sense.
so like I'm on the ice for like intermissions for um with contestants and like the chuck a puck thing,
Oh,
um,
okay,
that sort of stuff. Getting contestants, grabbing the 3 stars of the game. Um, yeah, it's more entertainment rather than the actual like game operations. Um,
okay,
yeah, I prefer the game operations side though. It's more
yeah,
obviously because I'm studying that sort of stuff, so it's more up my alley. But um, yeah, it's going well. The team kind of sucks though, but uh,
fair.
yeah,
That doesn't makes things probably with fans a little bit harder. It's like the team's
yeah,
not doing well, and fans probably are not going to have as much fun.
yeah. Well, also like it's a little bit easier because there's less fans.
Oh, is it limited capacity
Well,
still?
we have full capacity now, but when we started the season, it was limited. I think might have been 50% because it's indoor,
Okay. Yeah, okay.
um, which I like a lot better because it's like you don't have to worry about rain and stuff. And
Yeah, true, right. Oh
yeah,
god, some of those last few games started actually getting cold and rain. It was
yeah,
just
I
like
remember that
a lot of people here.
was against York, I think, where it was just pouring rain.
Oh, it was like a Tuesday night, or something like
Yeah,
that, and it was just yeah, that
it's
wasn't my
brutal.
most favorite. That was not
Yeah,
my most favorite. It was still neat to see like still like 2,000 people come out though. I was kind of like,
yeah,
huh, there's 2,000 people in the city who actually want to like come and stand in the rain for
yeah.
90 minutes. Like,
Uh, so what made you interested in like being a part of PFC for that season?
um, I mean, I saw the job posting and I just like I always wanted to work for that team, and I also figured in terms of trying to get into the sport world, it's always good to take jobs like that because most of it is you know it's like the same people work in the sport industry just in different places. So the more
Yeah,
you get to know some of these people, the more opportunities will come up. And I've always wanted to branch more to the soccer world, and so I was like, oh, that's a good opportunity to do it.
yeah,
It was a lot of fun. You know, it wasn't anything crazy. I mean, it's entry level type of thing to it, but it
yeah.
was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed the whole team, all the staff, awesome. Like all the bosses we sort of had, and even being able to interact with players and everything. Everybody is really nice.
I think that's
Like
the best
I
part of like working for the team is like the player, like you're always with the players,
yeah,
and
they're
it's
always
fun
getting
to
like they
like
some kind of you, and it's neat to have those light little things. You can actually make
yeah.
little jokes to them and stuff like that. It's always kind of fun.
who was who were some of the players that like you talked to the most?
Oof. Um, Probably just like it would there's I only remember Baldissimo, but there's
Yeah.
another guy who was with him a lot of the time, and I can't remember his name, but
Was it Ali?
maybe I think so.
Yeah.
But mainly Baldissimo.
I think
Like he was
he
the only one.
scored the guy who scored in the
Yeah,
finals. Yeah.
yeah. But it was mainly Baldissimo because he's one of the only ones who actually come up and kind of talk to us.
Yeah. Also
I
he
talked
like never
to
he never played.
yeah,
So
so that's why I probably got a chance to talk to him. I talked to Bustos, I think, once. Um, and then that's honestly about it. Like, I was
yeah.
never as much around them as I think some of you guys were. And
Yeah.
I mean, like, some of you guys be able to work actually in the office and stuff like that, be around a little bit more. Just once they see your face, they're gonna know who you are. But
Yeah.
so probably more, yeah, probably mainly Valdissimo.
Yeah. I think with me, because I already knew Sean Young um
Yeah.
from when I was like 14, 15 years old, because he played with my
Okay.
brother. Um so obviously I talked to him a lot. And like I know guys from previous years as well, so like Lucas and um Baldissimo.
Yeah.
And honestly, I talked to Ronaldo a lot
Yeah.
because
Fair.
like I've known him since like day one. So
Yeah.
um
You get to know yeah,
and
pretty
also like
well.
I
Yeah.
helped him out equipment manage, so it's like we have a pretty good um friendship, relationship, whatever. Um
Yeah.
I emailed Kira, who's like the manager of the team. If you guys listening, um, about like doing the work. I told you about like the work experience stuff for my
Yeah.
so. She was like, "Oh yeah, we had got like the finals and stuff, obviously." So he's like, "Get back in a few weeks," uh, and it's been a few weeks. Haven't heard anything, but I guess
I have a feeling that like,
they're still
yeah,
celebrating
well,
the
I was gonna say I have a feeling like, for a week or two after the final, like
yeah
nothing's gonna get done.
yeah.
Nothing's gonna get done. Yeah.
I think well they're back in Victoria. I saw
Yeah.
Lucas's Instagram. I think he's in like Belgium or something because he's
Well, isn't
from
it, I
there.
didn't realize he was, yeah, from Belgium, honestly,
Yeah.
for a while. Like,
So I think he was
I did
born in
not know that.
Belgium, went to Toronto, and
Okay.
went to school there, and then um, yeah.
Okay.
But I think he's Canadian, but
Yeah. Like,
dual
been here long
citizenship type of
enough to,
thing. Yeah.
yeah.
Um, and then I know like is I don't know if you want to do maybe like 5 years down the road or something, but do you want to like train professional athletes or high performance athletes in the future?
Yeah. Ideally, I would like to. That's just something that I've been around, like I said, as an athlete for a long time. And one thing of sort of, again, being at the point where I'm not quite like full high performance, but not the level, whatever, an age group athlete, being that weird kind of zone in between. I had an interesting experience with my strength coaches and people like that in that position. So again, it's interesting when you get to that level because a lot of times, if you're not somebody who's like producing results, then you're just not really cared about.
Yeah.
And that was something that always kind of like stuck with me. And I'm like, I hate that that's a thing. Like, yeah, you want your best people who are winning medals to be thought of. Like I understand that, but if the whole group is better, then I think the top gets better too. It's a whole argument of like, do you
Yeah.
make grassroots better, focus on high performance? And I'm such a believer of make grassroots better. If you focus on
Yeah.
every level of athlete, everybody's going to be better. The whole system will be more
Yeah.
respected, and the top will get better.
I
So that's
actually
sort
did
of what's
a
led me towards working with
yeah.
athletes. Yeah.
I actually did a project on that. So we are talking about like access in like basketball for girls
Yeah.
specifically. And so we're like, well, if we want to have top performing athletes, it's better to target like the grassroots. Because I think, me personally, if you don't start off with something in like grassroots, there's no way because it's just going to be the same all the way up, right?
Exactly.
And so, like, there's no way to like change that unless you change the foundation, I guess.
100%. It's I don't know. It's like to give like a kind of analogy of it. Like you think about any weightlifting stuff. If you're gonna have a strong squat, you better make sure that you have pretty mobile and good enough ankles, or else how are you
Yeah,
gonna be able to stand? Like
yeah,
like the bottom, whatever the bottom is, you need a good base of support, or else the rest isn't gonna be able to stand properly.
yeah. Um, so what do you like about in terms of like training professional athletes or high
Like
performance athletes?
what sort of led me again to that, or like what is it that's better than
What
training in recreation?
what is it like intrigues you about it?
Training for something specific. Like that's the biggest thing. Like in working in recreation and just sort of general to the general population, like everyone's trying to go for goals, sure, but a lot of the goals you hear is just like I want to lose some weight, I want to gain some muscle. Like it's just the basic stuff, and it's pretty chill. And it's definitely where the money is more often than not, honestly. But I like training people to be better at something specific. So like I want to run faster. I want to dribble the
Yeah,
ball better. I want to be, like strong in this specific lift because then I can kind of tailor a whole program around doing
yeah,
that. And it's just more you also get the chances to always critique yourself as an athlete then or even as a trainer be able to look at their performances, right? How they did on
yeah,
the games, how they've done in certain competitions, because then I can change my program based around their weaknesses,
yeah,
and it's just more entertaining. Honestly, it's more interesting, it keeps
yeah.
me more engaged, and I get to think of fun different things to change stuff up to make people better,
So
and it's
with
just it's
your
just more fun.
like what you're doing right now, it's more like you're just kind of making up stuff type of thing.
Yes and no. It's just like again, it's teaching the foundations, and I have nothing wrong with teaching foundations. Like, you know, a lot of right, a lot of younger soccer players, they're not going to know the foundations of being in the weight room, and you got to teach them that.
Yeah.
But it's just those people kind of understand that if they get better at that, they'll be a better athlete. Whereas the general population, it's like, what are they trying to get better for
Yeah.
besides like, you know, for themselves, which totally fine. It's just not as much fun. Like
Yeah.
it's a purely selfish thing of I find it more entertaining to deal with athletes than it is to deal with the general public.
Yeah. I know like it's the same with me. Like whenever I'm doing something, I want to have like even like if I'm working out, which is also like, I guess the reason why I don't like work out as much as other people in my program at least. But
Yeah,
um it was like when I was doing CrossFit, like I wanted a goal to like potentially compete in CrossFit because I started when I was like in grade 12, so like 17, 18.
okay,
And I was like, well, if I'm good at these things, there's a potential chance that I can do it competitively.
yeah,
And I was like, well, it takes a lot of time and effort to do that. Also, I'm in school, so
yeah.
um,
It is a lot of time, man. You got to
yeah,
dedicate a lot of time to becoming competitive at something.
yeah,
Like you got
um,
to make it the thing you do.
yeah. And then what was I gonna say? Yeah. So basically, like whenever I do something, I want to have a goal in mind. So even like now, I'm doing sport management because I want to work in pro sports, or um, working with PFC and the Royals because I don't know, I want to broaden my areas of sport for the future
Yeah,
type of thing. Um, which is kind of why I took the Royals job. Um, but yeah, I always want to have like some sort of goal in mind, something that like helps me in the future rather than just some like generic thing like working out because I want to look better or whatever, which
yeah,
isn't bad,
absolutely.
but it's not bad. But for me personally, it's not enough to like keep me doing what I'm doing.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. And I definitely agree. It's just like again, everybody in the gym wants to look better, right? But
Yeah.
that should be a byproduct of getting
Right.
better at something, right? Because then you can actually measure yourself, right?
Yeah.
And can actually hopefully be something you can attain it. Like just being, I want to look better. Well, when's the point of where that is? That you can
Yeah.
easily keep pushing that line further and further, and like then you just get, you know, you can bring self image and all that stuff into it as well,
Yeah.
right? Like, where if you're like, I want to lift a certain amount of weight, you can measure that really easily and keep yourself attainable, you know,
Yeah.
and still honestly enjoy it.
Um, so what sort of like, I don't know what qualifications you have right now, but like what qualifications do you need to like be a personal trainer? Obviously like CPR and stuff, but like the other NCCP maybe, I think, I don't know.
Yeah. So, just for personal training, you really just need the biggest part of it, honestly, is insurance. And that's what these sort of certification agencies do. They just make sure that they give you insurance and they make sure that you know the base levels of knowledge to keep people safe. You do have to have CPR, like CPRC and AED training. So basically like emergency first aid. But besides that, it's just their own certifications. So you can go through ACE, you can go through BCRPA, you could go through just tons of different ones. NAS, NASC or NASM or something like that. There's too many of them, honestly.
Yeah.
I went through one called CSEP, which is the Canadian Society of Exercise Physiologists. The one difference of what that is you have to have a diploma to get it. So you need at least 2 years of university credits, then you can
Yeah.
apply for it. And when you've done 4, you can apply to be a physiologist. So that's why I'm with them. It's just a bit more like well respected. You know, I can
Yeah.
show people I have university credits. It's not just like an online thing. But really, honestly, that's it. It mainly comes down to insurance. Like,
Yeah.
and a lot of these things to do group fitness or stuff like that, you can actually buy your own insurance. If you just look up the insurance agencies
Yeah.
that these people go through, you just get your own insurance.
Yeah. You can get
And
insurance for
besides,
basically anything,
yeah, exactly.
literally.
And
Yeah.
once you have that, it does. There's nothing that legally requires you to be to train people to be a personal trainer. It's different when you look at sports. Pretty much all of sports, you do have to have the main thing here is to be a certified strength and conditioning coach. So that's the main thing. So working and trying to be a trainer for a team, you pretty much have to have that. It's
Yeah.
just that that's the one thing where I would say you do have to show the education that you know how to do sports specific training.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And how often do you have to like renew those?
So mine is every 2 years. A lot of places are every year or every 2 years. So I mean, I pay into it every year. Actually, I should say. So a lot of most of them every year. You just have to continue getting. You have to prove that you're always learning. So getting continuing education credits. And every agency has its own sort of things, and that's where it depends on if you have to get a certain amount of credits every year, or every 2 years. But usually
Yeah.
it's in that range. And then like first aid, you're supposed to do that. I think it's every three. I think something
Yeah.
like that. I should probably look into that.
I
Honestly.
wouldn't know. um, I feel like I would like to like do some sort of like coaching in the future, but like
Yeah.
I well, I had my NCCP level 1 from school and then it like expired. Um, I hate like renewing all this stuff. That's
Oh,
the
I know. It's
it's
so
annoying
frustrating. It's
because
so
like
like there's so many hoops you got to jump through. It's awful.
yeah, it's like I don't know. Like you do like you have to like redo everything, or is it like you do like a higher version of the training when you renew it?
Oh no, you just pay into it. Like once you've taken all
Oh,
the
okay.
exams, yeah, once you've taken the exams and you've passed the exams to them, like that's it. You don't have to deal with that anymore. You just have to keep buying into it every year,
Oh,
and then doing your continuing education credits. But
yeah,
that's about it. A lot of them can be online courses and stuff like that, so it's not like it's that hard.
yeah. I know, like, because my grandma, she works at the Jubilee Hospital as a nurse.
Okay.
Um, she should be retired now, but she's still working like on call, but it's like Monday to Friday.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
basically. I know. Especially the healthcare system is so backed up right now. Like
yeah,
they need all the help they can get.
yeah. But like she had to do like her CPR training again, and it's just like she's done it for like I don't know 10 times or something.
Yeah, right.
It's like
I
pointless at
know.
that time.
Yeah, every
Yeah,
year, man. It's every year you got to do it, and it's the same
yeah,
thing. But like, I mean, hey, it's better for us to know how to do it. Like, even think about in the soccer world, like the whole Christian Eriksen thing at in Euro 2020.
yeah,
Like, man, it's really good that they knew CPR because save the man's life. Like,
yeah,
it's like you don't need to know it until you need to know it, and
yeah.
then it's good to know it. Like,
Oh, it. What we talk about in our program a lot of like risk management, which is
yeah,
like a big thing. Um, so I guess it's just sort of those like risk management plans are part of because you have to in sports. I feel like you have to think of the worst possible thing that can happen.
definitely.
Yeah,
You got to have a plan for like exactly that. Like if someone's going to break their leg in the stands or something, you kind of have
yeah.
to have some idea of what you're going to do.
That's why I was asking like I remember at like a PS. I don't know if I asked you this or maybe someone else, maybe Joe. I don't know. Um, about like fans like running into this on the field because
Oh man, it
that's
would be
never
so easy.
happened here
No,
ever.
it's never happened, but it would be so easy.
It's so easy because like well the fences are like 2 feet tall, and
Oh,
then like
easily hop over it.
yeah, and then like another 2 foot uh sign that just goes around the thing. But also you could just like open the gate and run on the field if you wanted
Oh
to.
yeah,
But
so easy.
I'm actually really surprised that's never happened. Maybe if we hosted the final, that might have happened. But
I feel like it's gonna happen once. Like it's gotta
yeah,
happen like once. Sometime. There's gonna be some other
yeah,
Whitecaps game or like something silly that's gonna happen, and there you go.
yeah.
It'll be
That
one
Whitecaps
time.
game was insane.
Oh,
That
that was
was
crazy.
that was the because we never had to host because I worked like the inaugural year, like when it was just created.
Yeah.
I missed the very first game because I was working uh with Wave at the time.
Okay.
Um, also like game day stuff, and then uh because it was like the very first game, everyone had to be there like 8 o'clock in the morning. and then they didn't
Oh
leave
yeah,
until like 10 o'clock at night. It was insane.
it's so
Yeah.
long to be at
Yeah.
that stadium.
And it was just a regular season game, but it was
Yeah, I went and watched the first game just as a spectator, and yeah, that was packed and that was so much fun.
yeah.
That was a crazy atmosphere, man. That was awesome.
Yeah.
Like to be your first game and to win your first game at home, like, and I was sitting in the supporters section right behind the away goal, so I saw like
Yeah.
the header in, and it was just that was
I
beautiful.
I talked to Noah about that because he took the corner for
Yeah,
that goal. And I asked him if there was like a play or whatever that they thought of, but he just said that he wanted to just hit it to the tallest person, which was I
fair.
guess what was Starro at the time. Um, he's like the Swedish dude that the captain of
Yeah,
the yeah.
yeah,
Um, yeah. So
that was fair. I feel like that's honestly sometimes the best strategy on a corner. Just like whip it in and just like let's see what happens.
yeah, corners are like anything can really happen. Any bad bounce can go in.
Yeah.
Um, I don't think we never really had that many corner goals this year, at least
Not
at
really.
home.
I think they really weren't the most about set pieces, it seemed like.
Yeah, I think it was more like Bustos running up and just like weaving through
Yeah.
defenders and
Oh, definitely. It was definitely like the kind of the wingers cutting in and
yeah,
like seeing what they can do through that, or just like Ollie getting like a screamer from outside the
yeah,
box or something, you know? Like
yeah. What other questions? I don't think. Well, let's get into your swimming. I didn't write it down, but
yeah, sure.
let's get into your swimming. So, what what competitions did you do? Like, was it like 50 meter, 100 meter?
So I was mainly a 1500 freestyler. So I was a distance swimmer. So I mainly did 1500. I did some 400s. I've done one 10K, like open water 10K, and I've done some open water 5Ks. But it really, for me, it was anything longer, like put me in it. Anything short is just like
Yeah,
I've always been a terrible sprinter. So
yeah.
yeah, long
The
stuff
same.
since I was a kid.
Same with me. Like my short, like for running, my short distance is so bad. Like
Yeah.
my 100 meter is like in high school it was like 16 seconds, which it's not that great.
I did. To be fair, I've never even run 100 meters and timed it. So
Yeah.
probably got me beat,
If you
like
get like
honestly.
15, if you're like under 15, it's pretty good.
Okay.
Um, but then like my long distance running, like we did a lot of like 1 mile runs at CrossFit and like 400
Yeah.
meters, 800 meters. So like my 1 mile, I have like, it should be on the chalkboard because they have like the top three of like all
Oh
time.
yeah.
And so my 1 mile is 5:56
Oof.
for that. And then like my 400 is like a minute, just over a
Yeah.
minute. And yeah, so like I'm a very good long distance runner. Um, but short distance, I can't do a whole lot with that.
Yeah. I feel you. I feel you
Yeah.
with that one.
Is it, I don't know, like, because swimming, you're using your whole body too. It's insane. Like,
It's a lot of technical things going on. You
yeah,
got to be able to think a lot of things at once, especially when you get pretty tired. Like you, all of it goes to shit. Like you don't remember any of it.
yeah.
Like,
Did you have a
and
lot of
yeah,
focus on like your like breathing techniques as well?
not as much as we should have, honestly. There is kind of an idea towards it, but my coach has never put too much into it. So it really does. There is like depending on the breathing patterns you can use, like it really does depend. Me as a distance swimmer, I sort of started doing where you breathe every two strokes, so you're always breathing on the same side.
Yeah,
And it's just for me it easier to set into a rhythm, and like especially in distance, a lot of it is being able to just find a rhythm. If you find some sort of pattern, then you can just keep that going. It's so much easier. Whereas like sprinting, you really don't want to breathe because so when you breathe, then you turn your head to the side, especially in freestyle. It changes your body alignment, so you
yeah,
have to have a pretty strong core to keep yourself flat, and it'll slow you down. Because typically when you breathe, like the biggest mistake is people drop their chest and their head lifts up, and then they swing their body, like swing their legs to the side, and it'll just make you so much less like efficient.
yeah,
So really, they like 50 freestylers, they don't breathe. Like
yeah,
it's 20-second race, they don't breathe.
yeah. It's insane. Like, obviously, like Michael Phelps. It's literally like a human fish.
Yeah, that guy was that was silly, man. That guy was so silly. I don't get how somebody can be that dominant, like in everything. And
Yeah,
just you haven't seen it since. Like you genuinely have not seen that since. Like that 2008 performance was just one of the most ridiculous
yeah,
sporting achievements I've ever seen.
yeah.
Like
Well,
I don't get
I
it.
was too young at the time to watch,
Fair,
but I was like
fair.
8 years old.
I was not
Well, you
that
were
old,
probably
but
like
like
12, right, or 10?
yeah, I was about 12,
Yeah,
but old enough that I could like pay attention to all the stuff going on. And that 4x100 freestyle relay they did was just like where like basically the US came back from like I think France had like a whole body length lead, which is like in swimming a body length is like that's a lot. That's
yeah,
like you're getting wrecked. And
yeah,
for them to come back at that, it was oh my god, that was crazy. That was crazy.
yeah,
Like since then, I mean, I know more paid more attention to our Canadian athletes, and there's been some pretty cool
yeah. Like
stuff
Penny
where
and
oh Penny Lexiak is ridiculous. We
yeah,
have this we had like from the 20 the Tokyo Olympics.
yeah,
We had this swimmer who she's 14 and setting some of the like all our Canadian records and all this stuff,
yeah,
which is crazy to see. We have so many good female swimmers in Canada right now. It's like it's shocking. I don't know
yeah.
what they're doing, but they're doing the right thing. Like it's such a good team.
I was watching more of the diving. I think like 10 meter or
Yeah.
5 meter diving, which is insane. The synchro diving
Oh
is
god.
crazy, but
Oh, it's so
uh,
nuts, man. All the
yeah,
skills they have to do that stuff. Like there'd be when we would go train in the gym, there'd be one of the divers who'd come and train around the same time. And like her core ability and everything I don't get. Like you have
yeah,
such good body control. It's so shocking.
yeah.
Like
And even like the bad, like you take a look at like the gold medalists, like I think China just like won everything. But
oh yeah. Oh
um
yeah.
like you take a look at like the I think Germany or England didn't do very well, but like they were literally like maybe half a second, not even half a second off um each other's spins and stuff. Like
Yeah. It's no, there it's such fine margins in that sport.
yeah,
It's so crazy. And they are phenomenal athletes. Like I gotta give them and honestly synchronized swimmers, it's a lot more impressive than you think. It's a weird looking sport, but like it's so hard to do some of that
yeah,
stuff. I don't get it. I don't understand how they do it. I don't
yeah.
understand their training. I don't get it, but it's crazy.
Have you seen the I think this was in like 2016 or something, 2018. I don't know. There's like these divers from the Philippines. Have you heard about this?
No, I
No?
don't think
Okay.
so. No.
So basically, I think this was in like the 2016 Olympics or something. I don't remember, but it was the Philippines had like these male synchro divers that, or I think it was like, it wasn't synchro, it was like single dives. Um,
Okay.
and literally they just like, I think they didn't have enough people to like dive, so they just literally like called up these guys to dive in the Olympics, and they like did the worst dives ever. It was so funny.
I'm gonna look
you,
this up
you gotta
after.
watch the
Okay, I
video.
have to look this up
It's
after.
hilarious.
Okay.
Um, and yeah, it's so crazy. They got like
Yeah.
zeros on their scores. It
Oh,
was so
man.
bad.
You know, so in swimming, they took a. There used to be basically like that, where like countries could send anybody, really,
Yeah,
whoever won the national competition could go. And they got rid of they brought in so in swimming they have basically FINA A and FINA B times, which FINA is the governing body in swimming. And the B time is basically the minimum you sort of need to get to be eligible for selection. I think there might be C time as well for certain countries, but it's like you have to be able to go certain like fast enough to be able to go to the Olympics. Personally,
yeah,
I don't like that because there is I I can't remember if it was 2008, 2012, but there was a swimmer from I can't remember which African country, but they were from a country in Africa, and they clearly just didn't like it. they got by like a minute and a half in a 100 meter, which is like 100 meter. The world record is around 46 seconds.
Yeah.
So to be like a minute behind is like definitely not that strong.
Yeah.
But it was so cool to see. And what I love about the Olympics and that is you still get these like, sometimes you get these average athletes to come in and compete for their country, and the whole crowd, everybody just gets so behind
Yeah.
them, and it becomes this like amazing story. And when you get rid of that stuff, it's just not the same. Like it's just
Yeah.
you don't get as much fun and enjoyment, and like this is so inspiring to see somebody like that be able to go and compete in front of 30,000 people and like just love every second of it.
Yeah.
Like that's what sports is all about, So to
Yeah.
get rid of that was just is so stupid.
What sort of like accomplishments did you get? Like any like gold medals in swimming or?
Yeah, so I'm lucky enough to have medaled at pretty much every competition that you can, like their level of competitions you can in Canada, except for Olympic trials. So I've never medaled at that, but I have one senior national medal to my name, a number of age group national medals. So like I've always been pretty, more the top level
Yeah.
in Canada for my age group. Like I went to provincials when I was 10, and have been going to like age group nationals and stuff ever since. I think I got my first age group national medal at like 15, I think, in a 5K open water, and then I got a few seconds and thirds and stuff like that. I think if I remember correct, my best ranking for my 1500 in a season for 18 and unders was fourth in Canada or fifth or something like that. So like I was pretty on track to be,
Yeah.
one of the like, be able to compete in some of this stuff, but everybody goes through plateaus at different times. And
Yeah.
unfortunately, what I learned too is that being a pretty average height guy, honestly, in swimming, everybody
Yeah.
who's pretty good, at least in guys, is pretty tall.
Yeah.
It's actually surprising how, not saying giants like basketball players, but most of them are over 6 feet, 6'2", 6'1",
Yeah.
6'2", which you just have so much more room to pull. It's definitely hard
Yeah.
being a shorter athlete in that.
That's what I like about soccer is like you could be like any height and be really
Yeah,
good.
me too. Right,
Yeah.
exactly. And it's you just got to embrace what you are, right? So if you're shorter, you're not going to be a big center back. Like
Yeah.
it's just not going to happen, and that's okay. But you lean into your strengths, and that's a big sort of philosophy I got in my own training for wanting to work with athletes or anything. Is it's like just because you have certain body dimensions and certain height things and all that stuff doesn't mean you can't be good. You
Yeah.
just need to lean into what makes you like what you can do that the others can't.
Yeah.
And like I found as an athlete, they kind of take that away from me. They, at least in where we are, they want to make everybody train everybody the same way, and it's just never going to happen. Like you never know
Yeah.
what people can get to if you actually go to their strengths.
Yeah. Would you ever go back into swimming, or will you focus on
Potentially
like
later. Like you mean
yeah
as an athlete
as
or
an
like
athlete?
coaching?
As an athlete, yeah.
If I ever go back to school, if I ever go to university, I would dream of like I never competed as a varsity athlete. So if I go back to school and I've thought about it, if I want to go try and apply to physio or I've thought about teaching, I've just thought about anything.
Yeah.
And if I ever go back to school, then I'm going to join a varsity team and I'll walk on and see what I could do. But besides that, like no, then especially any national team dream or anything like that is totally off the table.
Yeah.
Maybe as a master's athlete, I could see myself being like 45, 50 and being like, let's go for it. But not
Yeah.
at any high level. It's too much training, man. Like I
Yeah.
finished off training 35 hours a week. Like it's way too much. You
Yeah.
can't live and do that.
I
Like,
remember
definitely.
we did in school we did like a paper on like the price of gold. So basically like what you have to give up to win a gold medal
Yeah,
at the
to get there.
Olympics.
Yeah.
It's insane. Like they're looking at
Oh
like a
yeah.
track and field people and they eat like 2 blueberries a day. It's like
Basically,
it's
oh,
not
it's
healthy.
so shocking. I had
Yeah.
a friend of mine who was national team carded. So in Canada, at least in a lot of our Olympic sports, government will, if you get to a certain level, the government gives you money so that you can afford to be an athlete. And in swimming, the highest level, at least at the time, was $1,500 a month. and he had to go move to Vancouver and go to school, and his rent was 15.25 a month. It's just like, okay, so how do you
Yeah.
expect this guy to actually be able to perform when he
Yeah.
isn't even able to pay all his rent? Like, it's
Yeah.
so stupid. It doesn't make any
I know.
sense. And then they make
Especially,
all our national training centers in these expensive cities. Like,
yeah. Especially in like pro sports, you have to literally dedicate your life to
yeah,
being an athlete. I do wish there was a soccer team at Camosun because I would definitely play
same.
for them.
I don't get why there isn't, honestly. They have the
So
infrastructure. They easily could.
yeah, the so basically from my sport management perspective, um, basically there's like we have the field. We can even use Prospect Lake Field too,
Yeah,
Layrets. Um, the thing is, no staff to there's no coach, right? Which I mean that
yeah,
can be resolved, but that comes down to like budgets and stuff, which I have no idea what the Camosun budget is for the sport program. We'd probably have to like raise
yeah.
the prices of tuition for that. Um, also, there's no way to block off the field for to sell tickets and stuff.
Yeah,
So
right. That makes a lot of sense. There's no stands. There's no way you
yeah,
could like actually charge people.
yeah,
Yeah, that
unless like
okay, fair.
unless we build like a whole stadium, right? Like at UVic or whatever.
Yeah, but it's pricey. Like
Yeah,
it's their sort of field really. So we
yeah.
can't really do that.
Well, you could just make an agreement with Pisces. Like Pisces, they made an agreement
Fair.
to have the sport
Well,
program here
and I
in their
mean, actually,
building.
Pisces like games there anyway for like younger levels. So it wouldn't really make a lot of sense not to make it into something that, at least down the
Yeah,
line, that they could actually use. I guess it makes it kind of tougher to track around it, but
I mean, yeah, but also like UVic has a track around their field, so
true. And I guess actually, at least like backside near those houses don't have like it's just grass, so you
yeah,
could easily put in temporary stands or something like that. Maybe
yeah.
you know,
But you still have to close it off somehow, and there's
yeah.
no way to do that.
And
But
there's like trail stuff around
yeah,
us. There's just you couldn't do
yeah, it sucks because like there's a lot of really good soccer players here. And I know
that.
in
No,
like
absolutely.
years before, like even your age group, um, I guess like when I was in like second year or something, like
Yeah.
there's a lot of guys in your year in Sportman that were like really good soccer players.
Oh, I've through my whole time, my whole 5 years there, like I heard from like there's a shocking amount of people I could talk to about soccer, like
Yeah,
which was kind of surprising for a place that has basketball and volleyball and golf,
and
I
golf.
guess. But
Yeah,
I've never met one of the golfers, honestly.
there's one in my
I've
program. Um,
okay,
yeah, he like he's like, oh yeah, I get like a minus 12 on like these courses, and it's like no big deal for him. I'm like,
that's
bro,
actually crazy. Yeah, like
when's
man,
like the
golf is
national
one of those things
championship?
that I've never understood golf. Like I just like I get it. Like I don't mean I don't understand how it works, but like trying to work on a swing or anything does
Yeah,
not make sense. My body doesn't understand.
I think it's
Like,
similar to swimming because it's like you don't really have a coach, right? It's
yeah,
more like your technique and like your mental ability to play.
yeah, fair.
So mental.
And like how you perform on the day and like yeah, it's like
Yeah.
so do they all have like assigned caddies? Like do you know that? Like do they have the same caddy they have all the
I
time
think
at every competition? Like
I think when they show up to the chorus, they have people who like
or do it?
volunteer to
Yeah.
be their caddies. Yeah. Um,
Okay.
yeah. We don't have again, there's no budget to do that here.
Yeah.
So
So yeah, clearly they wouldn't have like
um,
the team caddy or something
yeah.
like that. Yeah.
I don't even know like when they train or whatever. I have some friends on the basketball team that like train in the evenings after school or whatever at Pisces. But for golf, I have no clue. I just like know this guy in my class who like wins every like national championship at Camosun. It's like
Casual. It's easy. It's whatever.
yeah.
Just another day, right? Like,
Yeah. Um yeah, that's kind of all the questions I had for this. Actually yeah, there is one more.
oh yeah.
So I know like 2022 is around the corner, but
Mhm.
I want to roll back to 2020, 2021 with all the COVID
Yeah.
times. So you were working in the gym during
Yeah.
that. So
Yeah.
was that like, how did that like affect like you personally, like with your clients and stuff, and then like the clients you see now?
Yeah. So from the biggest thing was honestly like the whole fitness, like recreation fitness world just got like destroyed.
Yeah,
Like these are the restrictions we had. It was very non-existent. We lost so many client members there. There's definitely a good few months there where I didn't have any clients. It was like people were afraid to come to gyms, and then they made it we had to wear a mask during exercise, and that pushed a lot of people away from it.
yeah,
And honestly, the fitness world is still kind of feeling the effects from it. Like it's still kind of
yeah,
going on. All these restrictions, cases are going up, and a lot of the dedicated people are there. Right? They're not going anywhere. They're going to do it, and it is quite good for your mental health. It's good for your immune system. Like I do suggest people, even if they're a little bit hesitant, like you'll be fine at the gyms. You will be okay.
yeah,
Um, it's just all the people that are a little bit not as serious, like all left. They're just all
yeah,
left. And I've seen so many gyms close recently. There's tons of trainers that have gone into totally different industries just because it's like there
yeah.
is nothing you could
Like
do.
you
Like
can't live off it.
no, right? And the
Yeah,
two industries that got the most hit here were like restaurants and
yeah,
fitness. Like they got targeted over everybody else. And I definitely know there's some gyms and spin studios and stuff that had cases. Like mine never has. Like we haven't had a single case. So there you go. We are quite small, so that makes
yeah,
it a little bit easier. But still, to be punished like that, and then us to be the ones who have to kind of take the brunt of the whole vaccine passports and all that sort of stuff.
yeah,
I'm not saying it's a bad thing. It has brought the numbers down and everything. It's just definitely tough for small businesses to handle.
yeah,
Like it's COVID really kind of messed with, and I think sport world felt it too, right? Like they just weren't able to train, weren't able to do stuff, and
yeah,
some athletes it helped them a lot. Honestly, I've seen a number of athletes that needed that 6 months or so away from taking training seriously because mental health and sports are have
it's
an
booming right
interesting
now.
relationship to say the
Yeah,
least. Um, so some people benefited, but some places still aren't able to fully train and stuff,
yeah,
right? And how are they going to do it? How are they going to compete? Like I personally felt that the Tokyo Olympics shouldn't have happened. I think they should have just said, "Hey,
yeah.
we're
That
not
was
doing
weird.
Olympics this year."
Yeah,
And
it
it would have
lost a
sucked because
lot of money.
some exactly, and like I understand that there's certain athletes that have been training their whole lives for that, and that would have been to go out like that would have been tough. But do you also want to go into a competition where you've trained half-assed for 6 months or tried to do what you can do,
Yeah,
and then now we're doing it? You have 2 months of training. Like, did that really feel fair either? I don't know. I don't know what the right
yeah,
answer was, but I kind of wish they would have just said like, "Hey guys, unfortunately, we're going to try and push it. Like, we're not having it." Like,
yeah. Like similar to like the
even
Euros
this
where they pushed it the next year.
exactly right, right. But even I mean, even this Olympics right now, like the Winter Olympics coming up, there's no hype about it too, right? Like
Yeah.
I found it gets so pushed aside.
Is
Like all of a sudden, it was the Tokyo Olympics, and I
is
was
that
like,
one
"Oh, it is?
in China?
Yeah, it is."
Yeah, so that's being boycotted in UK,
I just saw
US.
something about
So
the
that's probably
U.S.
why
Yeah,
there's no hype about it because um yeah, I think Trudeau just said something today about like boycotting the Olympics for Canada.
yeah.
Um
Okay,
yeah.
dude. I wish they. Okay, so talking specifically about the soccer, like I want the Qatar World Cup to happen
Yeah.
because Canada's doing really well, and I think they'll
Yeah.
actually make it, and that would be awesome. However, I also really don't want Qatar to happen because like I there's been so much controversy revolved around it that I just don't know how I feel about it.
Yeah.
It's a tough one, right? Like
I honestly can't wait for the World Cup, the 2026 one, because
yeah, the one that
that's
like
in
the
Canada.
North America, yeah,
Yeah,
that's gonna be
because
awesome.
that's like when I'm working in like hopefully working in
Yeah.
like that sort of stuff, and then like possibly if I get an opportunity to be a part of that would be sweet.
Oh my god, I would lose my mind. I'd do whatever I could to actually be part of one of those games.
Yeah,
I don't care if they just want me to like clean the toilet or something. I do not care. I just want to be part of it. Like,
yeah.
oh man,
Um, so just a follow up question for like
yeah.
your fitness thing. So what made you want to? Because I know you said that lots of staffing and
Hmm.
other trainers like left. So what made you sort of stick around?
Um, for me, I mean, it's just that like it it helps. It's more for myself. Like I like the industry. I do think there's going to be a rebound after probably still another year or two,
Yeah.
like that, something like that. I think there will be a rebound effect, and there will be lots of opportunity in it. Um, but also, it's just my own interests. Like this industry is what interests me. Like it's what I've been to school for. It's what I enjoy doing. And like as much as I do want to learn about the administration and all that stuff, like of side of sports and all these things, like training is still so important to me, and it's something I don't think I ever don't want to do. Like
Yeah.
I am lucky enough that I'm always kind of been a pretty good athlete, and when I work out and work out hard and go towards these goals mentally, I just feel so much better, and I feel
Yeah.
I can do other things in my life better. And there's just no way I could not have that be part of my life. Like
Yeah.
whether it's going to be the number one, way I make money and number one way I, live my life, I don't know, but it's always going to be part of it. Like there's no way I could not
Yeah.
train.
I know like
Like it's
a
just
lot
it's
of
too
people in
much.
our program, they always prioritize like health and fitness over anything.
Yeah.
And
It's just good. I
yeah.
like it. Like I'm not gonna sit here and say I'm like the most healthy person ever,
Yeah.
right? Definitely not. Absolutely, I can crush some Timbits and donuts and stuff
Yeah.
any day. Don't even worry about it. But just training makes me feel good. Like it's the one way I really do challenge myself, and I like challenging myself.
Yeah.
I need it. If I don't work hard, I go crazy.
Yeah.
I need to physically get tired, or else I can't deal with stuff.
Yeah.
Like
Um, Sweet. So that's all the questions I had. You okay? So on this podcast in the
mm,
past, I've done like usually at the end I ask the guests to kind of flip the script a bit and ask questions about me if you want. So that's sort of the time now if you wanted to ask anything
oh, cool.
about me.
Okay. Yeah,
So
cool. I mean, honestly, we need to know some of the same stuff. Like, I know obviously you spend a lot of time in soccer. I know a little bit about it, but like, what sort of, I guess, like, like you got me to talk about what level I got to in that. Like, what sort of levels did you get to with
with
soccer?
soccer. So I was always like technically I was really really good, but in high school and in like middle school, high school, I only played like youth soccer. Um,
Yeah.
I was really small, really skinny, so I never really had the opportunity to play at really high levels. So I was on, you know how they have like VIPL, gold, silver, bronze, and
Yeah.
yeah. So I was always on gold, but then I get called up to VIPL a couple of times. I'd always train with VIPL. Kind of sucks because like uh, I knew I was like a really good soccer player. I knew I was technically one of the best in the club, but
Hmm.
it's just like my size that didn't help. And now that like I'm a lot taller, like I'm 6 feet tall and like in
Yeah.
good shape, like now if I was that in like high school, I
Yeah.
would be playing like for wave or for
Doing so. Yeah. Going a little bit further. Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, that kind of sucks, but um I mean, the teams I've been on, it's been really fun. I've been in like some summer camps where we've played like the top teams in Washington, and
Yeah.
um, so
Okay.
I've played like in like I guess more like high performance stuff in the past. And I was also on the Highlanders like youth academy
Oh, cool. Okay.
with Riley. So and and
Okay.
Riley coached me in the past, and um, that's sort of how far that went. And then I got into coaching after high school, and then
Yeah.
working in sports after that. So
Okay, cool.
yeah,
Oh, that's okay, sweet. So along with that, then, like, one thing I also know you mentioned earlier was that you injured yourself a little while ago,
yeah,
right? Injured yourself playing soccer.
yeah.
What was it like dealing with that? Like, are you back to running and playing and everything, or is
Oh
it
yeah,
still kind of
yeah.
recovery? Yeah.
So like, I'm pretty young, so I recover really quickly. Um,
Yeah.
my back actually has been messing me up too the past like even yesterday, but then like today I'm just like 100%. So
Okay,
my
fair.
like my recovery is pretty quick. Um, Also in soccer, I've been fortunate enough. Never had any like serious injuries in
Okay.
soccer. I've only had sprained ankles, um, which I mean it can be a serious injury, but
Hmm.
like the most time I've been away from the plane was like a week. So
Oh, okay. Man,
um,
that is pretty lucky, honestly,
yeah,
especially in a contact sport. Like that's
yeah,
pretty. Yeah, it's pretty lucky.
yeah. So I think mentally, like when you're injured, it's yeah, like when we were talking earlier, it feels like you don't want to do much. Um,
Yeah.
and that's what I do. I just don't do much. Like I sometimes I don't even eat much because of it, and um, like I think like now I'm starting to eat a lot more because like last week I lost like 5 pounds because I just wasn't
Oh,
eating
wow.
that much,
Yeah.
and just like really unmotivated to do stuff. Um, but like today I'm trying to eat a lot more and this week, so
Yeah.
I'll probably get back into like um the spurt of like working out and stuff and like eating
Yeah. Kind of
4 or 5
push through
meals
a
a
bit.
day.
Yeah.
Yeah, start that again, and then we'll just go from there. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Definitely do nutrition and eating is definitely the hardest part of any athletic stuff. It's like it's not hard to set a routine to work out. It's really hard to be good on recovery.
yeah,
Like sleeping enough, eating properly. It's just, oh man, it's so much harder.
yeah,
I've definitely learned that. Like as I've gotten into so much more consistent, it's like if you don't recover properly, then you're not going to be able to build
yeah,
anything. But like knowing how to do that and knowing how to listen to your body is
yeah,
it's a whole different skill. I think
yeah,
it's crazy.
yeah. Anything else?
It's on my head. Not, I don't got much, man. Like, yeah, I don't got any more questions or anything
I
really.
think like maybe I'll say like why like I got started with soccer or like
Sure. Yeah.
other sports I played, maybe if you're interested.
Oh yeah. So like, how did you get into CrossFit anyway?
So I mean that was just through my family because my mom and dad they started working out at Pisces and then they
Okay.
um went to CrossFit when I was like 15 or 16, and then
Okay.
my brother started and then I joined after about a year
Okay.
later, and then it was like the whole family for a couple of years, and then
Like, did
um
you guys go to classes together?
not all the time, sometimes not like all four
So,
because my dad did more powerlifting.
okay.
He did like powerlifting competitions,
Oh, really?
and yeah,
Dude, what was his
so
numbers?
he had his back squat I think is almost it's like 385 or something, and
Ooh,
then
man.
deadlifts
Okay.
around there too. So yeah, he's
Okay.
pretty
That's a
strong.
strong guy. That's a
Yeah,
strong man.
yeah,
Anytime if you can squat like anywhere above 315, that's
yeah,
ridiculous. Like it's
yeah,
actually ridiculous. That's the thing is like I think getting into lifting and all that, like people, you kind of see all this stuff on social media of all these people lifting 600 pounds all over the place, and it's like it's actually incredibly few and far between who can actually do that
yeah,
stuff. Like these guys make it look easy to squat, back squat 700, but
yeah,
like if you can do more than 250, that's a lot of weight.
yeah,
Like it's all about perspective, man.
yeah.
It's,
And
it's crazy.
I think with soccer, I started when I was 7, uh, and that was mainly through my dad because um, as when I was younger, like my birth father and then my mom split up when I was about 3, maybe. I don't
Okay.
remember. And then so it was me, my brother, and my mom for a couple years from like 3 to 5, and then my dad now adopted me and my brother, married my mom,
Okay.
and then so I mean the one thing that like I guess we kind of bonded on was soccer, and
Okay.
so we've always watched soccer games, and then um I guess it just kind of naturally went into like signing us up for soccer because yeah at the time like my parents weren't like the richest. um I think my mom like worked at the bank, and then my dad was like working at London Drugs and stuff. So
Okay.
wasn't like fortunate to live in a rich family. But
Yeah.
So like soccer is like the cheapest sport you could register for. So
Yeah,
um,
it's very versatile. It's
yeah,
very out there for anybody. It's what honestly I wish we had more of a culture built around that sport here, especially just going out and playing. Like seeing kids just being able to go out and play
yeah,
games like soccer for fun. You just don't see that much here. And like
yeah.
it's I wish we had that more. I wish we had more of a out having fun type of culture.
So I think
Maybe I was just not involved with it, but
yeah,
that's what it seems
I
like.
think like with my age group, around my age group was when soccer started to like grow a lot in Victoria. And now we're
Okay.
seeing like Sean, for example, like growing that, being on
Yeah.
PFC. So around my age group was like when it started to like really grow, in terms of like registration and stuff. I think it
Okay.
has slowed down a bit though, but um,
I have a
like
feeling that through like how well the Canadian national team is doing, both men and women, we're going to see
yeah,
those numbers start to bump
yeah,
up. I really
especially
think it's going to be taking off really
yeah,
soon.
especially on the women's side. 'Cause
Oh yeah,
after yeah,
it's like we have established ourselves that we're one of the best soccer, like women's soccer countries in the world,
yeah,
and that's going to keep going, and it should.
yeah,
Like they're killing it. It's so impressive to see, man.
yeah. I actually didn't like enjoy practicing soccer that much. So
Okay.
I was actually always playing hockey in
Oh, okay.
um like roller hockey and stuff just on my street. So I like that. I did like a roller hockey camp.
Okay.
So I did want to play like a little bit of hockey when I was younger, but costs and stuff. But
Yeah, things. Yeah,
yeah,
no, I get you. That sport is very expensive.
yeah. So I just played for fun on my street and um yeah, but soccer is like the one sport like I'm really good at. Um
Okay. Yeah.
like I could go on the field and be
Yeah.
good.
How did you think that started? Like, did you kick around ball, like play with soccer balls and do all that stuff when you're really young, or like, how did you
No,
think
because
that just
I
started
never
happening?
touched a soccer ball when I was um 3, 4, 5 years old. Really,
Okay.
because I was like, because my like I always hung out with like my grandparents and stuff. So they're from Sri Lanka, which is like it's kind of like India.
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah.
underneath India. So they're like more like into like the arts and like music and stuff. So I was playing the piano.
Okay.
Um, and then yeah, so it's basically just like my dad. Uh, and I guess I started off with like watching soccer. I remember we watched a lot of like Barcelona games,
Okay.
and Barcelona was like the first team I watched when they had like their insane super teams and stuff. So
Yeah. Honestly, that's not a bad team to start watching.
yeah, so that was like 2008, 2009 when they were like winning everything, and
Okay.
um, yeah, that's like the earliest memories I have. I guess from that, like you just pick up things when you're young, and in terms of like tactically and stuff. So I guess
Okay.
that's where that came from. I don't know how I became left footed though. I think that's just from like because the rest of my
It
family's
just
right.
happened.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the rest of my family's right footed. So um,
You're
yeah,
just the special one, man.
yeah.
You just yeah.
Watching a lot of
That's I
Messi.
Yeah, exactly, right? You just see him and it's like, okay, I know what I have to do.
Yeah,
Like I know my mission. I
yeah.
understand.
Anything else you want to ask, or you good?
Um, I mean, I don't know, like what sort of so you obviously want to work in sport in like the sport world, right? Obviously. And
Yeah.
like you obviously have said you're a bit more into the operation side. What's the ultimate goal? Like where is it you'd want to see yourself in the sport world? Like an agent, managing a club, equipment managing, like
Yeah.
where do you see yourself?
Anything in pro sports, really. I want to be some sort of manager, whether that's equipment manager, blah blah blah, um, accountant
Just
manager. Probably.
organizing, scheduling, all that sort of
Yeah,
fun stuff.
I think the really cool thing for me would be like involved in like signing players and doing
Okay.
those things. So like being an actual manager of the
Scouting kind
team.
of. Yeah.
Not so much scouting, but being like an actual manager of the team.
Okay.
So sort of like what Kira and Brad do.
Okay.
Um, So that sort of things, obviously, like equipment managing is really fun because like you're like on the pitch basically.
Yeah, you're kind of
Um,
part of the team in a way,
yeah,
kind
you're
of
part
part
of
of the
the
first
team.
team. Like,
Yeah,
yeah.
but I do enjoy more like the operation sides, like the more business things. But
Okay.
sometimes, like I think for me, I kind of have to start off with like equipment managing and then work your
You can
way
start
up.
wherever you can.
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly. I guess, like I sort of said before, it's who you know. And just if
yeah,
you can get your way into teams and then they show that you're competent, then you can work your way into whatever.
yeah.
Like, definitely.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah, that's about it. Nothing else? Or are you good?
Yeah,
End the episode.
I don't know what else to say, man. It's been a nice conversation.
Yeah,
It's been pretty cool. Yeah,
this is
a lot
definitely
of
one
stuff
of
I learned about
my.
you today.
This is definitely a lot of my one of my better interviews. Probably the best one so far.
Hey, I appreciate that. I
It's
know it's good,
yeah,
man. Like any chance I can get to talk to somebody about sports is pretty much all I want to do. Right? Like
yeah. It's the
training's
same.
fun, but
Same with me.
yeah, right. Like
On my program, we
so
just
good.
talk about sports all day. So
Oh, dude, I could not. I could talk for like 8 hours just
yeah,
straight about sports and everything about it. Honestly, like
yeah. All right, all right, guys. So that seems like we're gonna end the episode there. Finn, thanks a lot for joining. If you want to tell
yeah,
people like where to find you on like Instagram or
yeah, sure,
whatever.
yeah, definitely. Yeah, I'm always trying to do things like trying to get into selling programs and getting new clients and working my way into online fitness and all that sort of stuff. So main way to find is just Instagram. My Instagram's at Finstagram page. That's a pretty fun one. I know it's one of the most clever things I've ever come up with. Um, yeah, that's probably the best place to find me. I don't really have any Twitter or anything else, so that's it.
Yeah,
Maybe YouTube channel down the line. Who knows?
yeah.
But for now, just Instagram's where I'm at. And thanks for having me on, man. It's
Sweet.
been cool. It's been a fun experience.
All right, and you guys can find me at the Crossover Podcast on Instagram, um, and then there's links to like my YouTube and stuff for this. So yeah, that's about it, and I'll see you guys next time.